Hello everyone, I am Prakhar Tiwari, currently head of marketing for Central India's largest production house, The Blunt. Do you know how it feels to be the head of marketing at the age of 21? How I end up being here, what I did differently that I am addressing you today, you will get to know the journey pretty soon. I was in 10th standard when I read about LinkedIn somewhere and I started using it. After a month, I was able to connect with a few leaders from Fortune 100 companies, and they were my first mentors. I took science in 11th with a clear vision to do management after this, but I also used to get this advice there is no scope in management, do engineering first. But I was very clear with what I want. So there is a lesson. Trusting your decisions is the most important thing. It will help you stand up against the stereotypical beliefs of society. 2 years later, when I appeared for my management college entrance, I couldn't clear IIM Indore because of the 2 marks. I went to Noida for my Symbiosis Pune interview, and I knew if I really want to grow in the industry, I need to learn it from the leaders themselves. I requested one of them to meet, and he was kind enough to call me home, where my father accompanied me. I'll remember that meeting for my whole life. We were having a very interesting discussion. He was asking me about what I want to do and what my vision is. I answered him that my vision is to change all the myths people have about growth. I'll prove them that people can grow early too. He then made me understand the importance of networking even more. In the end, he said one sentence which motivated me and made my father proud. I'll tell you that, but at the end. And that day I learned if you ask and strive for things, they work in your favor. I decided to connect with a lot of new leaders every day. I got a call that I have been selected and I joined Symbiosis for my undergrad. On the first day of the college, I was exposed to a very different side of the world. I met new people, people from the so-called high end of the society, very different from me. Our director was sharing their previous batch achievements, and I decided that I want my name to be on the top next year. I got my first internship with a UP based news website as a creative writer. I wrote something factual about a very powerful politician in Uttar Pradesh, and as a result of it, my manager asked me to write only nice things. I resigned and realized that I am not someone who will ignore the facts and do something which I am asked to. I realized if I want to do something extraordinary, I'll have to find opportunities that way. It will give you a wholesome experience of the leader's lifestyle and his decision making skills. It will also help you understand the whole ecosystem of the company and the industry. So, if you really want to become the CEO of XYZ, look for an opportunity to assist the current CEO in XYZ. I started assisting one of my mentor. My learnings were growing at a very rapid pace. He then asked me to coordinate inside alumni meet on his behalf. I was happy and shocked for a few minutes. Coordinating an inside alumni meet, one of the top B schools in the world. My mentor introduced me to all the leaders there, and everyone was shocked to see an 18-year-old kid managing their alumni. I started interacting and utilized this opportunity, and that day I learned we should never hesitate to speak to anyone senior. I learned that the worst the person will say is a no. It's already a no if I don't even try, so why shouldn't I try and speak to them and decrease the probability of no? So I spoke to more than 10 leaders that day, and now I know them personally. Then one of my mentors got me an internship at American Express. I became one of the youngest intern American Express India Finance ever hired. I learned a lot about how things work in the corporate. My mentor knew about my love for networking, so he used to take me to a lot of VPs and SVPs. So I used to interact a lot with them and grasp their workings. I completed my internship, and with this internship, I completed 1 year in my college. And now was the time which will prove that all of my hard work in the past year paid off or not. Director announced the list of their previous batch achievements, and my name was there on the top. And it was written twice because the top two achievements are mine. I was so happy and proud that it motivated me to do a lot more. It was like a sense of achievement that I want my name again on the top next year. I was continuing my work as an EA in Campus Editor 2. And by this time, I had already built my network with all the top CEOs and founders of the country. So here is a lesson. Building your relationship is very important than someone's referral relationship with anyone senior in the industry if you want long-term learning. I got another offer from the CEO of the world's second largest content viral company to assist him. I immediately said yes to that too. I enjoyed working with two leaders in three different companies at the same time. It was becoming hectic for me, but I was ready to sacrifice other things like partying and participating in college activities, etc. Time passed. I was looking to settle with the opportunity as a full-timer. I already got offers from two Fortune 100 companies. I was in my hometown, and my family asked me to stay back rather than going to some metro city. I trusted myself and my skills, which I have learned till date, and decided to drop both the offers. I was checking about opportunities in my city, and the Blunt caught my eye. They were hiring for an associate manager role, and I was doing the same thing at my previous job. So I spoke to his founder, he took my interview, and I got the job. So there is a lesson. Trusting yourself and your skills is the most important thing while looking for any opportunity around. If you dream big, you don't have to always go to a big city. I was given the responsibility to take the company from the pre-revenue stage to the growing stage. At that time, we used to have only 35k subscribers, and today we stand at more than 146k subscribers. I started hiring people and building my team. It was the second wave of COVID, and it was very difficult to get a brand on board, and that too with a low subscriber base. Though we onboarded our first brand in just 10 days, and it was a market leader in health and wellness industry. So before this, I was not aware of how a script looks like or how a shoot happens. After a few months, when offices got opened, I got another brand on board, and now was the first time that I was involved in the whole production process, and it was like a dream come true. So I observed how a shoot is done and got many lessons during the process. I then started giving more inputs on how it can be improved. We as creators spend a lot of time on an idea before even writing it. Till now, we have done more than 30 shoots, and it's very amazing to see how society loves our stories. I got too occupied with the work that I hardly used to find time for my friends and relatives. People started judging me, taunting me that Prakhar, you're a big man now. I realized that I was doing the same thing with a few of my mentors. I also used to freak out if they don't used to reply me or they used to ignore me, and it sometimes even led to an argument. Then they gave me a very important lesson, and it goes by: you should never judge anyone until unless you know the circumstances they are in. Moving on, as the head of marketing, whenever I used to sit with the team for the marketing plan, we used to discuss how we can hit the right chords with the people. We observed a few trends in the current ecosystem, and it is based on two things nowadays: relatability with the characters, so they release character posters for it, and different emotions for a different audience. So how many of you relate to a character while watching a web series and say, oh, this is me? We all do this at some point while consuming a content. We as marketers make you do that. We too did character branding for our series Pyar versus Dosti, and the theme of the series was the FOMO you feel when your best friend doesn't share his or her important life event with you. The moment I said this, you must have given it a thought and remembered that friend. So we simply asked people to tag their best friends while who made them feel FOMO, and it worked well. So let me share how this content influences our lives. I've seen people in the age group of 17 to 22 talking about insomnia, depression, and whatnot because of the type of content they consume on social media. Boss, this is the time when you live to the fullest and happily create memories. Though we as marketers will keep promoting our content in a very different ways to you. It's part of our job. So there is a lesson again. We should understand and fix the frequency of the type of content we consume, else it is somewhere affecting our mental peace. Becoming cool is not real cool. What you believe and your zeal to work on that belief is the real cool. Throughout my journey, I challenged and unlearned all the beliefs society had. People used to say that it takes time to grow to a senior leadership level, and I took it as a challenge and made it at the age of 21. So I always knew that it is my journey and I'll decide how I'm going to travel. You don't have to follow what people say you do. You just decide and then stick to it until you achieve the result. So now is the time to think, rewrite your path, and unlearn things that affect your growth. Let me share things which I unlearned. Activities that were not priority for me. Irrelevant stuff that was making me lose my focus. Myths that Bollywood taught me about college life. Quotes and beliefs which told me that this is not the age to work this much. Relationships are more important than your work. They can be important, but you need to decide at that moment what is important, your work or your relationship. If the other person doesn't understand you or your work, boss, you're with the wrong person. So you are the one who knows what you want to do. If you are not able to find it, keep exploring, but try to stick to it. Don't freak out and run away. You are the one who will decide your priorities. Even if it's a relationship, choose it, but be careful of your choices. You are the one who will decide your priorities. Even if it's a relationship, choose it, but be very careful of your choices. You tend to become the person by what you think, so think and act accordingly. Let me make it simple for you. Remember Ruh, rethink, unlearn, and hustle. Mark Zuckerberg started at the age of 19. I started at the age of 17. So it's your life, and no one knows on how when you should start. So start now. So as I told you, that I'll share what my mentor said to my father that day. But before this, there are very few moments when we don't expect anything. We don't try to capture them in our cameras. We just relive them time and again. And that was my memorable moment. And it goes like, जैसे सचिन तेंदुलकर के पापा को नहीं पता था कि उनके घर में द सचिन तेंदुलकर पैदा हुआ है, जैसे लता मंगेशकर के पापा को नहीं पता था कि उनके घर में द लता मंगेशकर पैदा हुई है, वैसे ही आपको नहीं पता है कि आपके घर में द प्रखर तिवारी पैदा हुआ है। और ये सिर्फ आपकी धरोहर नहीं है, ये पूरे देश की धरोहर है। एंड ऑन दिस नोट, लेट्स बिकम ग्रेट लीडर्स ऑफ भारत। थैंक यू।